I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. This guy says the horse can do.
Part 2 of the Monday Rant. And we have a week this week that involves a public holiday. It's on Thursday. So our midweek action will switch to Thursday. Gordon and I are discussing the probability of getting the Melbourne preview out on Wednesday night. That's the Melbourne preview for Saturday. I'm not sure. Where are they on Saturday in Melbourne, Gord?
Don't know yet, Mark.
Because I'm about to switch to Melbourne form. Give Sydney form the brush. Glenn, I mentioned one horse. I mentioned one horse on the Melbourne preview.
That's good.
Oh, did you? How'd it go?
It was 80s when I mentioned it, and it won.
Go fuck yourself, Lamb. Why don't you ring me? Really?
It won well too. It was like a dominant.
You know the horse, Estifini, the Gosford Cup title holder.
Oh, yes. It trucked in. And what, you gave it a chance, or you mentioned it, or what's the story?
It's the only horse I bobbed up and said, I like Estifini.
Fucking hell. Lamborn, you're fucking grade me for decades now, and you can't tip me an 80s chance when I'm cast? How good are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you haven't got enough money to fill the Bentley. I understand that. All right, so yeah, watch out for the midweek action is Anzac Day, Kensington. Track will be dead. The weather is nice enough. Rose Hill Saturday, the track will be dead.
A very interesting meeting, Rose Hill Saturday, because we're going to have all these leftovers and failures of the last few weeks.
Chewed up stuff.
Yeah, chewed up stuff on horses fresh heading to Brisbane Carnival. It's going to be a really interesting card Saturday. We might be able to find one on Saturday at 20s.
The funny thing is that last year, we used to go straight to Hawkesbury after Randwick, and recently we go to Rose Hill for a little prep, I don't know, a little interim meeting. Last year, it rained on race morning. Cruel Summer won at that meeting, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And the track just went black. So maybe it's an autumn phenomenon where tracks are, they're watered, they're already wet. So rain on the day is just a fiasco.
Talking about Rosie, it just reminded me, I drove to Hawkesbury last week. And of course, I used to go over the bridge and it's fucking $55 each way in tunnels.
Yeah.
If you go out via past the Rose Hill, turn off and out there, and you come around the back, and it's
Windsor Road.
No, not Windsor Road. You stay on highways the whole way, and you come out. I can't work it. Anyway, it's $14 in toll. So I found a new way to go for 14 instead of 55, and it's 1 minute longer. So it's fat. Driving out there that other way, of course. I go past the Rose Hill turn-off, because they got a Rose Hill turn-off, and it's banked up the thing. And as far as you can see on the other side, it was choppers. The Rose Hill Caravan Show was on. They got a full fucking house, and fucking you couldn't get into the and you put a race meeting on, and no cunts there.
Caravan. Oh, the aging generation, eh?
The caravan.
So it's been like that ever since it's been on, isn't it? Stitches and
got to put the Caravan Show in on Golden Slipper Day.
Caravan and camping.
Get ourselves a crowd. Watch where they can get pissed and sleep over.
Sleep over in their caravans.
Exactly.
Very good. Very, very good. Oh, that's too funny.
Gold. You glide into Rose Hill every Saturday of the year. The caravan shows, you can't get through the turn-off. Pretty funny. Anyway, welcome to racing in the new era under our chief.
Yeah, well, Kiwi Jimmy sent me a podcast of an interview with Sam Cav, who of course trains Rothwell. Yeah, and I will just key this up because there's a very interesting section about where he talks about what's happened since he got sick. So that's coming to you right now.
So he's very sick, this boy, isn't he?
Yep.
He's like on death's door. Is that fair to say that?
Yep.
Poor bastard.
Hopefully we can afford him.
Yeah. Tell me about your sickness. You were diagnosed with cancer last year. You want to take us through that, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously it's a bit of a tough time when you get, we've had some tough times, and the diagnosis wasn't great early on. you know, it's obviously very tough on the family. And we sat down with the staff and said, you know, we're going to rely on you guys to help us get through the next few months, and then we'll make a plan from there. And look, you know, my diagnosis in November was 6 months.
Oh, really? Where was the cancer?
Stomach, esophagus, liver, and spine, stage 4.
Shit.
So yeah, sort of 6 to 12 months, and I was lucky enough to get onto a trial with the St Vincent's Hospital, and I've been doing a form of immunotherapy and a trial drug from America. And it's no longer in my spine. The liver's pretty much cleared up, and the tumours in my stomach shrunk by more than a third. So look, we're a long way from out of the woods. It's up and down, but I'm back at work. I'm feeling good. When I say feeling good, I'm probably back to 80%. And, you know, we had to make the decision in February whether, you know, I mean, this industry is a hard industry, and 12 horses just doesn't cut the mustard. So we had to make the decision whether we push forward or we give it away. And, you know, I've got really good staff for the first time in a long time, and we've trained them all. They're all young, and we've trained them all from scratch. A lot of them, it's their first job. I think we've got 5 staff, and 3 of them were their first ever job, and they've been with us 18 months and been trained from scratch. So, you know, we didn't want to let them down, and we want to rebuild. So right now we're really chasing hard to get some horses in the stables, and try and build things back up to 30 and work and make it a business that, you know, can move forward. But obviously in New South Wales, that's very difficult to do. You know, we've proven that we can train stakes winners, and we've proven that we can travel horses into state. But, you know, we're just in an industry now where people sort of see the super stables, and they, you know, the small owners that own 5 and 10%, sort of, it's like following football teams. They want to see their stable win every single Saturday. And, you know, our last 50 runners goes back to September last year. We just don't have enough running to be seen. So we've just got to service our owners as absolute best we can, and hope they bring friends through, and you know, hope people sort of read our story and they're interested in getting in the journey with us.
Sam, just back to the cancer situation, you said many parts of your body. What helps, you know, on reflection, were you crook leading into that for some period of time and just didn't go, like a lot of guys do, they don't bother going to the doctors and so on? I mean... Yeah,
look, funny enough, and this you know, for anyone listening, this is a wake up to go and get yourself checked. So I was in Brisbane last year with a horse at the carnival. I was at the Breakfast Creek with some friends, and I couldn't swallow my steak that night. For the first time, I had like a lump in my throat, and the next morning I kept getting reflux. I stayed with a friend up there, and I just said I didn't feel right, and I continued on, and I started a bit of a health kick, and I just felt like I had something stuck in my throat. I thought that I had, you know, whether I'd got a bone, or, you know, like I'd had a bit of tissue or something there. I thought, oh, you know, it'll just disappear itself. And went on a bit of a health kick. I went on the carnivore diet and went running and started losing a heap of weight, and the reflux progressively got worse. And then one night I actually was chatting on the phone to someone. I picked up a lamb chop in the kitchen and I took a bite of the lamb chop and nearly choked myself. Couldn't get it out of my throat. So I went to the hospital, and they put the scope down there and said, you've got esophagus cancer. So it's, and you know, I said to the doctor when he said it to me, I said, you know, well, we have, you know, you've taken tests. We don't know what the test said. And he said, mate, I've seen enough of it. I know. And for someone that's, you know, 37, it's something that people get when they're often older, smokers. I'm not I've never been a smoker. I'm not a big drinker. I'm only a social drinker. And yeah, for that to happen was a very rude shock. So I urge anyone, when they have any of those health issues, definitely be getting yourself checked out as soon as possible.
Yeah, all the things that must go through your mind. You know, obviously your wife and your daughter. I mean, is she about 12 now?
Yeah, 11, Sienna. She's yeah. So yeah, and look, that's the frightening thing. You readjust your whole life, don't you? You know, like I went from saying, you know, you want to see your kids grow up, and you've got all these plans. I want to take her overseas. I want to do all these things, and you know, now I'd just be wrapped to get through to her 21st birthday. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm not giving up on anything, and this trial drug from America has given me some amazing results. So I've just got to believe that, you know, like I said, my first prognosis, if I just went down the line of what was the basic, you know, I'd probably be cactus. And at Christmas time, I thought that was the case. But these new trial drugs are quite amazing. And like Dr. Cosman said to me, if we can buy you 5 years, there'll be something else out there. And the trial that I'm on at the moment has had some great results with me, but had some pretty exciting results around the world. I think there's only 50 people on the trial, and there's obvious side effects. You get a bit itchy or a bit of a rash, or things. You have your sleepless nights with the steroids and things like that you're on, but it's a very small price to pay to be here.
What's the name of the drug, Sam? Can I ask?
I think it's letters and numbers. It's not an actual.
Fair enough. But if you had to pay for that, it'd be extraordinary, wouldn't it? The cost.
So, look, actually, Racing New South Wales really stepped in and helped me. I spoke to them when I was having operations and so on, because that was at a significant cost to me, and they were amazing. Peter Volandis basically stepped up and just sent me an email and said, any operations or anything you need, and Racing New South Wales will help.
Oh, really? That's
as
wonderful.
much as we can, which was fantastic. But obviously the trial is run by the drug company, so we don't have to pay for that. So other than your basic your basic health supplements and your travel and so on, the actual immunotherapy, which is normally 40, 50 grand, that's all covered by the drug company because it's a trial. So I'm very lucky to be accepted into that.
Good luck this afternoon. I think a lot of people listening to this, Sam, will be cheering this also on even more this afternoon.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's a bit of insight, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just awesome, and just so good to hear that PVL fucking did something we're all pleased with.
Oh, he loves doing that shit. There's nothing
I
better
know,
than
but
being
still,
the
he doesn't have to.
benevolent dictator. It's just like,
I know. I know.
To look good.
Fucking hell, that's just like, what about Sam's attitude? That was inspiring.
Geez, he speaks well too. I so understand what he's saying. Like, when you're 37, you're not thinking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? No wonder he, even though there was some,
well, he did actually address it. He took it on board himself. Like, he went in his own direction.
And tried to get fit and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. That was just like, good luck to him. Fucking hell. Because I'd heard he was off, and then all of a sudden, he's still here.
Yeah. It's still pretty hard to back his horses at the moment.
Yeah, I know, but still, fucking. Wow, that's Right. Anyone got any problems?
Yeah, exactly.
Just on a sidelight, he was using. Is this an under 40s thing? Just kept using the plural all the time, like we. Is Ash Barty sort of we?
And a lot of the soccer girls say we.
Is that?
No, I thought, like, when he was saying we, it was like
him and his wife.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thought it was more the whole stable.
Well, I wasn't sure what the we is.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I know what the we is.
Kiwi Jimmy, that thanks for sending me that, because I wouldn't have listened to it otherwise.
No, me neither. Thanks a lot, Kiwi Jimmy. It's just funny because I was only just thinking, like, we all know what a cold, black-hearted cunt I really am. We understand that, but there's people who just are overboard nice and whatever. So I'll talk about a young John Walter, who's really hard-working racing student. I don't really know him that well at all, but I know to say, "G'day, John," blah, blah, blah. But Lonhro dies during the week, and like, people like him and lots of other people, they put out RIP. I can never understand it, because I don't get it.
Don't you think there's a lot of bandwagon stuff in life that people participate in sort of almost without thinking? It's just like,
it's like social niceties. I can't stand them. You know why? You know how, like, if something goes wrong and stuff like that. Like, if I went, so many people would come up to Sam and be all the, emotional cry stuff. My thing is, I treat people like I'd want to be treated myself, and that is, I'll take any help I can for treatments and stuff like that. But I don't want you to treat me like I'm about to die. You know what I mean? And
I think if I could ask people, one thing of you.
Yeah. And I think people, they think that that's a social nice thing to do. And, man.
Look, I don't know if John, I don't even know if John's mum and dad are still with us. I don't know. But let's say he goes around there Sunday night, like all our mums, and makes a beautiful roast chicken. Before you tuck into your RIP the bird. What the fuck's the difference? I want to give thanks to this. Oh, you poor little chicken. I can't work it out.
It's a wonder we haven't heard from TW this week, given Lonhro and Gord.
Hang on, Lonhro, R.I.P. Rest in peace. People don't even rest in peace. Let alone fucking animals.
So
when we die, does every bat, and mouse, and chicken that ever lived is up somewhere, and people everywhere that are dead, all resting in peace? God, you know all the answers.
What do you mean? When you're dead, you're dead. That's it. We're just
fucking
an
I know it is.
organism that life is sparked due to trillions and trillions of variables that had happened previously in order to create this thing that we call consciousness. But I'm not even sure that we are conscious. I think every action could actually be predetermined. But
so I went to my grandson's baptism yesterday, which is nice, it's all shit, but blah blah blah. And of course, the priest, he'd been there for the previous one. He said, "Oh, not you again, in you, me." Because last time I went and saw him, he couldn't believe I was a professional gambler. I don't know how you could do that with your life gambler. I said, "What about you?"
I love it.
He was just he was so shocked and so stoic, and then he had a giggle. He said, "Oh, that's pretty funny when you think of it like that."
Well, I mean, to be honest, like
betting his whole life,
betting his whole life on a book fiction book full of fable. Yeah. You know what I hate about them as well? They tease other religions and other people that have crazy ideas because of their ridiculous text. Read the Old Testament, for Christ's sake.
All right.
But of course, Gord, you're forgetting about the perks. This is if you are looking for a gravy train, you get involved in religion because, of course, religion has managed to attract, money and wealth and everything,
and not pay tax on it,
and not pay tax. Yeah. So
and hatefulness.
Oh, yeah, everything.
Middle East, most religious place in the world. How are they travelling over there? Any chicks in G-bangers walking on the beach? I don't think so.
Only at Coogee, Glen.
Look, I'm
millionaire Coogee.
Look, I mean, it's the greatest con in the world. I mean, any con that you only find out for sure whether it's true or not when you're dead is sounds like a pretty good strategy to me.
Yeah. Our Hong Kong man said you put up the Sydney Morning Herald story after the Mycart video. So what happened was we were talking about Raymond Shane looking over on Imprimatur and M. de Montfort on the inside, getting up the inside. Of course, Shane got 6 months straight away, lost on appeal. He says the background is this: both Imprimatur led all the way in the Spring Champion Stakes that season, so 6 months before, and Mycart were owned by property developer John Danoon, for whom Dye did a lot of riding and had first call on his runners. Mycart emerged during the second half of the season, coming through the Melbourne Autumn Carnival, where Dye was the winning jockey. Mycart then went to Sydney, but it was a 16-1 chance in the Rawson Stakes, where it was the Cox Plate rematch between Bone Crusher, 10-9, and our Waverley Star, 11-8. Dye rode Bone Crusher. Mycart was ridden by Mark de Montfort and flogged them, as you no doubt remember. So Dye wandered back on for the Tancred 2 weeks later, but Danoon said he couldn't replace the winning rider, but acknowledged it was his ride and said Dye would be on a winning percentage when Mycart ran. Mycart won the Tancred easily too.
Oh, Jesus.
With Dye leading and finishing out the back on Imprimatur. So all that led to Dye being in front on the Derby. Mycart behind him in traffic, and Shane obviously thinking about his percentage. Obviously, the inquiry and the 6 month span a big deal, but one of the things that people never knew was that Dye and de Montfort actually greatly disliked each other and didn't talk. It was only about the money for Shane.
That just makes it even worse. I mean, it looked terrible. I mean, that is no wonder, Glenn, you see the boogeyman in the closet, because in your, back then,
in your era,
the boogeyman was in the closet.
Jumped out at every corner, good. Yeah. Scared the shit out of him.
Oh, wow.
And there's a postscript where Roy Milkey,
good man.
I think he's 15th and slipping, isn't he, Glenn?
Still a good man, though.
He says, just following up regarding Shane Dye's ride on Imprimatur in the 87 Derby, after which he was given a 6 month suspension. 12 months later, Imprimatur returns, does nothing first up, nothing second up, third up, 2,000 metres at Rosehill. Shane Dye gets back on and it leads all the way at 20s.
Wow. Great times.
Great times, yeah. Well, the thing is, you guys having your finger on the pulse out at the racetrack, you know, you'd be able to adjust for the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different times. Just different.
Or you could get tugged by the boogeyman. God, there was all sorts of things happening. He's just. I think you were always better off if you just imagined the boogeyman didn't exist, because
I think
it was going to freak you out one way or the other.
Look, now, like the last 10 years, obviously the attitude is to say that the boogeyman doesn't exist. If you err that way, I think you're in profit.
I think it's the best way to play. But that's my personal opinion. Let's have a look at the Betfair in play on the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, which we could have shown last week, and I sort of overlooked it. But Nigel said, look, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't shown it, could be old news, but if you haven't shown it, it's very interesting viewing, which it is. So let's have a look at the in-play betting on the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
Racing now, and Pride of Jenny jumped brilliantly towards the inside. Pride of Jenny in front. Mr. Brightside being sent forward on the outside.
Get rid of the audio.
And Plaster Carousel straight.
There's Pride of Jenny. It's $7. Who's $2.12? That's Via Castina.
Yeah.
$8, $7.20, $6.20. I think after this point it gets better again.
It gets longer when it goes out to a bigger load, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're still rolling with this one. Yeah, I thought it did get out further. Like a friend of mine, he kept back in the blow. Had to fill up.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Had an absolute biggest result ever recent. Just filling up. Who put this together? Young Nige?
No, it's Betfair put it out as a promo.
Oh, okay.
In play.
Right, wow.
You know what's amazing? Like the shorten up on Pride of Jenny, but Via Sistina staying solid.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
So they're just giving the rest. Look, 340 to 220. I mean, obviously,
great viewing. This, isn't it?
I reckon the 330 was a better bet than the 780. So I'm getting V now.
Yeah.
Like even the evens there.
Oh, I'm so happy Betfair did this.
What about the $1.40? Any good, yeah? Like I said, my friend, he sort of just keeps betting right the way down to $1.07. He just never stops. He probably stops now. And he's just praying to God to hang on. Wow. Fuck, you take the 1,000 Via Castina just in case they had a heart aneurysm. The leader, I mean.
Yeah. I wouldn't, but yeah.
I'd take the thousands Via Casino in case it had a heart aneurysm, but then I'd also say R.I.P. Pride of Jenny.
Yeah, and well, you could get Way in Light too, Ben.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was
outstanding by Betfair. Great, thanks, Nige.
Yeah. So, and the straight picked up the.
I've really warmed to Nige the last couple of months. He's been coming out a lot because, I've always struggled with Nige, but it's just his look on his face. I've always just looked at me in a way that he looks at you like you are a fucking idiot. But that's actually just his look on his face. He's like that when he talks to everyone.
Permanent. Yeah, it's permanent.
Permanent look. So I've had to drag him up a good dozen lengths and quite enjoy his commentary and his company the last few times I spoke to him. I just think he just looked at me with such a look that as if I felt like I was a fucking idiot, so I didn't warm to him. But it's just his head.
It's
got his fucking head that just looks at you like fucking. You must be an idiot. And then
no, it actually the look is.
Gorgeous girl spoke to him. He looked like that to her.
It looked exactly the same because he's always thinking, and he just has it's a real neutral expression all the time, which
funny.
Yeah.
I need to get in the piss with him and like get into a dust up with a couple of other blokes and him. I'll take that.
Mate, I love it. All you need to do is get Sooty and Nigel together. It's bloody fantastic. You know, particularly when Nigel is so unemotional, to find somebody to stir him up a bit is really good fun. Jesus Christ, does Nigel stir Sooty up? I
Does he
think
really?
Sooty
Oh,
goes
yeah.
red.
Yeah. Well, Sooty takes the bait.
Oh, it's so
Anyway.
much fun. So much.
Thanks for that, Nigel.
Yeah, so the Straight goes on to write about in play and the fact that Betfair put up that video, and they say, aside from being an excellent piece of social media promotion from the Betfair team, it also demonstrated the intrigue of an in-play market, especially in a race over a distance, which allows for significant fluctuations and the opportunity to back a horse after it's jumped. The current market for in-play betting in Australia is relatively limited. The exchange on a race of the right nature can represent up to 10% of the total market. The instantly changing nature of in-run betting is naturally suited to the exchange, where punters determine the price they're willing to take or offer, depending on which side of the ledger they sit. In order to provide any real value, it requires liquidity to ensure the market's worth betting into. Corps also offer in-running betting, but typically only on selected runners, usually 3 or 4, with a rest of field option thrown in. Anecdotally, it's usually the domain of those who may miss backing a horse before the jump and opt to take lesser odds when the live market's activated. Live racing markets contribute less than 5% of overall turnover on thoroughbreds for Corps, although it's probably double that for harness, where racing position is much more important to determining the result. However, a recent announcement by Triple S Data and Racing Victoria could provide a boost to the amount of turnover generated in running. So they want to integrate live race tracking content into a live odds engine. Basically, they'll offer licensed data from RV, which will be used to generate fully automated in-run odds, and feed them to the corporates to use. This would, in theory, give corporates the ability to offer full field odds for longer during a race, rather than just the 3 or 4 plus other option they put forward. It would, again, in theory, put them on the same playing field as the exchange and offer greater opportunity for betting in the run. It will be made available for Flemington, Moonee Valley, Caulfield, Sandown, plus Pakenham and Cranbourne. It's already used by bookies in the US, Canada and the UK. With so much Australian racing taking place over shorter distances, the value of in-play betting in Australia is no doubt less than it would be somewhere like the UK or Ireland. However, the arrival of low latency video feeds has now happened through the Tab app, does put the punter at home in a better position. So previously, vision feeds have been significantly delayed, sometimes by up to 10 seconds or 50 seconds in Gord's case, and fast fingers were needed to get on at the right price. Conversely, those at the track were at an advantage, seeing the races live, but needed the connectivity to make a worthwhile investment. The delay on vision feeds is now negligible, meaning those watching from afar can have some confidence they're not betting on an event that happened several seconds earlier. Transparency on those delays would be important to punter confidence. The question is, will the corps embrace the opportunity? Automated feeds are a risk they have to weigh up, given manual checking is not really feasible if the odds are changing constantly. That is not a problem with a peer-to-peer setup like a betting exchange, okay? However, there is genuine opportunity for greater engagement and greater turnover. Using the basic information that 10% of money on the exchange bet is bet in running, and that figure is less than 5% for corps, then clearly there's an upside to embrace it as a genuine betting product. So basically, he goes on to say that racing bodies should be encouraging this form of wagering, and that it is the opportunity to actually grow turnover on gallopers, because all the other turnover on gallopers is actually slipping. So watch this space, hey? But that's looks like it's Melbourne only.
Yeah.
Did I mention on Friday's show about the parties popping up, hunting parties popping up in this area?
The punting parties? What are you talking about, Glenn?
Oh, well, it's like I've been asked for some tips, just mates, like not in racing, and they're going to punting parties. So you get 20 or 25 blokes around, they have Barbies on Saturday afternoon, they get around, they have they have their man caves, and they got the TVs with the football and all. And instead of all betting on the horses, they just have a selection in every race. And on 3-2-1, they all put in 300 or 400 or whatever, and there's 20 blokes, and there might be 6,000 in the thing. It's 5,000 the winner and 1,000 for second, and they don't use any betting. They just bet, you know,
like each other. I think it's
they're
fantastic.
becoming really popular.
I think it's a fantastic idea. They're not giving any percentage away.
All
the money goes back. You know, they
goes to
take the money out for the beer and the meat on the barbie or whatever, and then
they're becoming really popular, mate.
Great idea.
Okay, well, I'll need to
Doesn't
watch
help
the-
us. Doesn't
Well, of
help
course it
us.
does.
Doesn't
I
help the
mean,
game, but I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that it's a nuance.
Well, it
it's
does
come
help
around
the game because people are still bloody paying attention to it.
engaged, yeah, maybe. Oh, but and then what happens is when you feel like you're out of the competition with about 4 races to go, blokes now bet with each other, like, I'll race you home for a monkey.
Like,
Like me and
yeah,
Gord
I
race for a
mean-
billion. Like, it's
I
just
mean,
like
I've-
all change. It's a changing landscape where turnover is going to keep going down. It's no good that the authorities do this and like, but it is a little Facebook phenomenon. It's just happening all the time.
It all depends on whether, people like to argue that the amount of money that people are willing to gamble is capped, Like a guy is only willing to lose that $300, he's not going to bet anymore. I'd suggest those guys at these parties would
Still in the tab.
Well, you're in the eastern suburbs too, mate. So there's the 300 in for the prize pool.
Not much.
You never know, that mightn't even reduce how much they're turning over on the day on their phones and stuff like that. So.
It's all come about because the poker in the pubs, the money goes into the pot and it gets split out. And some people thought, well, let's have race days like that.
But I mean, that was similar to what you guys set up with Top Better, wasn't it, or something like that?
Tournaments.
Yeah, tournament.
Kind of
It's like
similar.
tournament betting.
It's kind of similar, which I can't believe it never took off more than that.
Yeah, either can I. Oh.
It's an enjoyable experience, especially.
Well, I think it was the organisation behind it. I mean, they've since become bet makers, and everyone groans about how competent they are. They're not very competent, and look, tournaments just needed Sportsbet or someone else, Ladbrokes or someone bigger to push it.
Push it.
Yeah. Gooney's got an interesting video for you, Gord. He says, "Hi, Mark. One for the boys to discuss. I'm thinking OG. Gord might see it differently, so I'll bring up the video." So this is a half marathon in the Asian Games.
And in our merch, by the way, guys, we'll have T-shirts that say OG, what that means, PR, what that means. You can just wear it around on your back.
How funny would that be? I didn't read. I saw a headline about this, but I didn't read the article because.
Let's go.
Yeah, what's going on here? Come back, Asian Games. Where are you?
I tell you what, if it's in China or something like that, isn't it? If it's over there, bloody hell, they could be. If they've rigged it, they could be put to death.
All right, so I'll just share screen. Here we go. It's racing. Go away.
I love when Lambo talks to the computer. It's so fun. Go away.
Bloody thing. Where's it gone? Not there.
Riveting TV.
It is.
Hey, go. Let's do something in the back. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh yeah. He's asking him to run faster. So who's the OG for
the Chinese
guy?
Is Asian man the right way to put things these days? I never know. I didn't want to say the three black
coming up to the finish.
Yeah.
They're just riding shotgun. They're just not even trying.
That is the biggest OG I've ever seen in my whole life. And those.
So any one of those three could have beaten him. They're in a track gully.
Look at him. He's even waving him by.
Wow. The amazing thing is they got those three black dudes for $10 US each.
You can say Kenyans, Glenn. You don't need to call them black.
Well, I don't know. I never know what the right words are anymore.
And is the situation that what him winning this gets him into the Olympics as well, or something, or
let's see what the So let's see. An investigation has been launched after an embarrassing detail at the finishing line of the Beijing half marathon. The footage shared widely online appeared to show three African runners deliberately allowing China's He Zhe to win. The Kenyans, Robert Keita, William Nangat, and Jijin Halu of Ethiopia, sorry, they weren't all Kenyans, and home runner He approaching the finish. The 3 African runners can be seen pointing to the finishing line and apparently waving Hay out in front while appearing to slow down. He was the, he was the 2023 Asian Games Marathon gold medalist. This is a half marathon. We are investigating and will announce the results to the public once they are available, who wish to remain anonymous. Yeah.
Why are the Chinese always in these OGs? The 23 swimmers all tested positive, and it's all been from some world champions last year. Did you read about that last year, Gordon? Last night?
Yeah.
And the whacker or whatever it is says, oh, no, it's not that bad. They just ate the wrong food or some shit. Well, they get the free go.
Yeah, but I think you also, Glenn, if you're going to say that when we get caught, our athletes get caught and they say, oh, no, I ate the wrong food, then you've got to be just as brutal against them and ruthless against them as well.
Yeah, we do. Fair enough. We do so.
You know, oh, no, he just took a diet pill accidentally. You know, that's what we say when an Aussie gets done.
So long distance running has boomed in recent years amongst China's middle class, but there have been numerous instances of cheating and poor organisation. 2018, a half marathon in the city of Shenzhen, 258 runners were found to have cheated, including many who took shortcuts. Traffic cameras caught them darting through trees to join a different part of the race. In 2019, a woman was filmed riding a green rental bike in the international marathon in eastern China. She was ordered by race officials to dismount the bike. It's okay, love. Just get back in the race, only to get back on afterwards.
Wow.
So the implication was that they were pacemaking for him so that he could record a better time,
like an Olympic qualifying time or
something like that. Yeah.
He doesn't look like a runner. He's 4'8".
Well, they don't have to be tall.
The funny thing was the look of absolute exhaustion and effort on the Chinese runner's face, and the fact that
after the line, he's bowed over, and the other 3 guys had gone, slapping him on the back. Good on you, Goonie. That was
by the way, I don't know why you need to get it. Why put the 3 of them in the race?
They know he's won, doesn't he?
It looks worse when there's 3 all giving it up to let him win.
Yeah.
If they were just going for a pacemaker, I'm saying.
I'm surprised I wasn't there with you, Gordon. We boxed the trifecta, the 3. How does this happen to me?
No, and then but we knew the fix was in, so we got, and then we got one of those, we got some sort of like a man who's like, needs a bit of coin to run and take out the Chinese guy, and what's the 3 black fellas just standing around like, what are we supposed to do? Pick him up and carry him over?
Probably. Trapper Dave says, I think there's a big opportunity to open a RANT merchandise shop on course. Lots of stuff.
On course?
Yeah, on course. Well, yes, there's not enough people there, but anyway, maybe if the caravan at camping shows off.
At the caravan and camping show. That's our chance.
Lots of stuffed horses promote the hell out of Pride of Jenny. Surely she captures some newcomers to the great game. Could have little toys for trainers and jocks as well. Walla, one you shake its hand and it cries. Mood's got a beer in one hand, a durry in the other. J-Mac doll, you push a button, it shits $100 notes. Schiller, toy, when it lays down, it curls up and starts snoring. Rachel and Jamie on a horse, better view to length behind in run. And the best sellers, boxes of tissues with certain jocks and mainly Sky commentators, can also be used to wipe your ass. Then we have 2Q's favourite, a doll with pins in it for PVL, voodoo job, and a dartboard with his melon on it. Surely a winner, plus many more caps, T-shirts, etc., with the wise people of the RANT on them. Great idea, Trapper Dave.
They'd be really funny, actually. Some of those are good.
Well, we need to produce a product that just pushes the boundaries so tight that we can't get into trouble. Yeah, shows who we are.
Oh, look, man, a little thing of like when you shake its hand, Chris Waller starts crying.
Yeah, that's a beauty, isn't it? That's
J-Mac shitting $100 notes. Like, they're just like funny. They're not sort of taboo, shall we say.
Yeah. It's just having a bit of fun. So A King, I think it's Tony Lorch, isn't it, Glenn? He put up this tweet a few minutes after a race at Tuncurry on Thursday. Let's have a look at it. Race 4, Tuncurry, was advertised as distance being 12.05. Race was run over 13.05 because he took screenshot of the start in race 1 and the start in race 4.
I honestly don't know how this happens, but
so I checked everything. Like Racing New South Wales, Racing Victoria said the distance was 12.05. Ratings to win says, which gets its feed out from Racing Australia. Distance is 12.05. Blah 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 blah. It's clearly been run over 13.05. And if we go to the stewards report, which was probably prompted by aforementioned Mr. Lorch's prescient tweet, following the running of race 4. After the riders of the placed horses had weighed in, correct weight was declared on the numbers sent forward by the judge. Correct weight was officially declared at 2:54 p.m. Sometime later, after the running of race 5, stewards identified that race 4, which was advertised as being over a distance of 1,205 metres, had been started from the incorrect starting position at the 1,305 metre position. No one thought, oh, gee, that's a slow time because the winner pissed in and is flying. Stewards then had to give consideration as to whether they should use their discretion under AR 201 to declare the race void. AR 201, discretion of stewards if race started from incorrect starting position. If a race is started from the incorrect starting position, the stewards may declare the race void, and if in the circumstances they consider it appropriate, order that the race be rerun on that day. Wouldn't that be good? They'd have to vet every horse and make them eligible. We'd have
they don't let them back up after one day. They're going to back up after 4 hours.
I think there was a one-day backer-upper yesterday, wasn't
there?
Yeah, I looked. They vetted fucking Bully for you after 3 days.
Yeah.
So did he win at Newcastle and race 3 days later at Kemba? Oh, the vet had a look at him to make sure he was okay.
Be annoying if you followed backing horses that back up that are back in distance. Got to make every running goal. These are all theories.
Very good, Glenn. Very good. Having regard to the time that had elapsed after correct weight, thereby confirming the result of the race being official, the stewards determined that the result of the race should stand, with the official results to reflect the distance of the race as being 13.05. Accordingly, all bets placed on the race stand. After investigating the matter and interviewing all relevant staff and officials, the stewards established that neither of the relevant starting positions were appropriately marked or signed, with race clubs officials responsible for the placement of the barriers incorrectly identifying the rail opening at the 13.05 metre start as the 1,205 metre start, which they had used 4 races earlier. This occurrence was deemed to be largely attributable to the officials assigned with positioning the barriers having recently been appointed and therefore not familiar with the track layout. In other words, the new guy was at fault. The incorrect placement of the barriers was then not identified or corrected by the starter or the stewards prior to the race being run or prior to the direct declaration of correct weight. Having reviewed the process of positioning the barriers with the club's officials and relevant staff, the stewards will provide recommendations to the club to improve their processes and to ensure there is no reoccurrence of this error in the future. In other words, please don't disturb my scones and tea again because I don't like it.
Unbelievable response.
It's so bad, man.
That's just so terrible.
That is so bad, isn't it?
So
and the way they deflected what about how they deflected? Like, oh, it wasn't our fault. We just run the meeting.
Yeah.
It's old mate Bill over here on his first day didn't know that was a different spot. Anyway,
but just yet again, they don't.
King getting it straight out there on the tweets because he's a man with his finger on the pulse of racing.
It seems like they never think about the punter's missed opportunity or disadvantage. They never think about it. You know, just like the calling off the last couple of races on Saturday, if you're on at fat odds on wet trackers, you know, this is another example. They just never think about the guy that's
paying for
the punter. Yeah.
No, we're right down the bottom, Gordon. We're the lowest of the low.
It's just like, but I mean, how no other industry exists in the environment that we exist in. It's just,
no, terrible. Anyway, also.
I mean, at least Wallace stuck up for us. You know, and there we go. Maybe there can be another Waller doll.
Yes. Yes, the Waller, the punter's friend. Yeah, Chris probably had a tap on the shoulder, Glenn, saying, "Look, can you just drop off about the punters, please?"
Oh,
Oh dear. We raced at Mornington on Saturday, and I just wanted to read this out because One Chi is a good ranter, and he gave us some intel about the Mornington track, which will be useful for those of you that do bet on Mornington from time to time. He says another quirk of this track is there a 12-metre climb from the 600 to the winning post, effectively a climb around the turn and a climb up the straight, which has brought many a flat track bully undone and favours locally trained horses who are conditioned to the incline. So, yeah, it's only got a 200-metre straight, which looks like you get away with stuff. But he's basically saying there is a hill there that could find you out. So,
you have a look. The jocks are on to when you need to get your momentum up.
So they're getting
because
they're getting on what 200 metres before the home bend, are they going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were for all my horses, and all of them won. So it was
good.
To be honest, I don't touch
jocks.
Mornington normally. It's only due to the Mark and Aaron, and it was just fat, man. It was fat.
There we go. You should, if you're watching this show and you haven't checked out our previews, we do preview Melbourne, Brisbane, and now Perth. And they were all good on Saturday, so keep your eye on that. And speaking of Perth, Kev from Perth.
Good man.
Yeah, the shadow of his former self that Glenn fat shamed him.
Good.
He did
another person I've seen.
Said, this could be one of the more wild things I've seen. Good for Monday's show. And let's have a look at this. You like this, Glenn? For all my foreign friends and followers, check this out. This woman in Brazil tried to pull off something like Weekend at Bernie's, but instead of partying, she went to the bank with a dead uncle to try and get a loan. Seriously, Brazil's something else.
No way. So she's trying to get a loan or something and saying that's my uncle.
Yep, that's my uncle. Oh, yeah, I just need to help him.
I know we sometimes get in trouble on the show for trying to spot a dead one, but this is outrageous.
Is he really dead?
No, he's not dead. It's a model. It's a doll. It's not a person, Gord.
Is it? It's a... Oh.
Legal. Ele não tá bem, não.
Or is it a person?
It's a person, but he must be still half alive, because otherwise rigor mortis would be a little bit more significant, wouldn't it?
A corzinha não tá ficando.
I don't know, he's died and he's gone, I better get a loan out of him quick, fast, quick, smart.
Não tá, não.
Oh, I thought he was like a model, but he's brown bread.
Yeah. He's...
Oh, the poor bastard.
Jesus.
Rest in peace.
Thanks for that, Kev.
Rest in peace.
Maybe that was like what is it? Toby Harden Pro and new Perth Pro mounting yard and price expert, and Kev went head to head a couple of times on Saturday, and
that's next level.
The pros go to cream. It comes to the top there, Kev.
Okay, so yeah. Kev had to
well,
suck lemons.
Kev's an awesome analyst and just makes plenty with his primary bets and stuff like that. But don't take on the big boys, Kev.
That's a shot across the bow there, isn't it? Hey?
It's because he's all hot and trim now, and
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's good looking again, and he's a Trump supporter. So I've got to throw something
stick the knife in. Yeah. Hey, Rant, does Gord still think Carr wouldn't be a top 10 jockey in Sydney? There's too much mustard on that take, Gord. And just before he answers, contemplate that she would get the best of rides under 54 and over Ford, Schiller, Chad, Karen, Kathy and Lloyd. Yes, they would start a lot shorter because she clearly has a talent edge on them, but Gord seems to do a really good job of walking between the raindrops on favourites. But I haven't heard that expression before. Glenn, you got any intel there?
I think Gord does do a really good job about walking. I get hit by every fucking raindrop when I back favourites, and Gord misses the losing ones. It's a gift. If I got favourites right, none of you would be betting because I own everything.
Yeah, but that's if. That's the
I
contingency.
know. I don't get them right.
Anyway, he says all those lightly raced horses, Gord, you and Jamie would become an unstoppable duo. And then there's all the other rides above 54. He goes on to say she did a good job of finding the best part of the track on the last couple of weekends. A compliment made in J-Mac's direction ad nauseum. Any comment before I move on, Gord, or just move on to the second part of his email?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my negativity about Cara is the fact that the general consensus of amateurs is that she's one of the best in Australia. And if that's the case, that means, like, I'm not going to say she's got no ability. I'm just going to say that the market tends to overplay her, and I'm going to find plenty of opportunities to bet against her. That's pretty much all I ever talk about in this game. Like, it's I tell you what, do the test, guys. Go down to the local pub and see what all those idiots are talking about there that are still betting into totalizer pools, and do the opposite. And they all think Car's great, and they back Willie Pike in every race in WA. I mean, you can find good little ideas just knowing what dumb people do. Who happened to be my friend sitting at the table with me.
One of my favourite ever systems was Jeff Pendlebury. He'd go to the casino, twice a day. I said, "What's your keys to success?" There, Jeff? He goes, "Well, you go around all the craps tables, and you try and find the bloke that's really on tilt and chasing, and you find him, and then you bet the opposite of him, and then you have a couple of wins, and then go and have some lobster and come back later, and then you look for the next bloke chasing at the casino, and he would bet the opposite."
He does the reverse cooler.
Yeah. He had a lot of success for it.
That's a bullshit system. But my favourite system of his was the thing in the last. What was it? He'd always lay the favourite in the last if he was winning a lot.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that his rule? But I like the sort of strategy behind it, and that is like
don't shut up shop just because you're winning.
Well, no, the fact was people like to blast out on the favourite in the last.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can lay it at shorter than it should be, so it's a value play.
His other great play, which you'll also love, if all the favourites won, he's had a complete strip on a Saturday, big day, complete strip. That's the night you go out for lobster and all the frills, because what's the fucking difference?
Yeah. Better to cheer yourself up.
That's true. I mean, you've done 50,000. You don't care about $1,000.
You don't worry about the fucking $800 restaurant bill. Yeah. Let's make it 51. That's pretty fun.
He's a wise man. Wise man,
He's
Jeff.
a very wise man, Jeff. Huh?
He's about to turn 80, 2 weeks.
And a marble.
So Ian goes on to say, just also wanted to send you guys a slaughter/black booker. Spirit of Camelot is the black booker, started 30s on the fair. So sick. It's a Northern Hemisphere bred 3-year-old filly. Turned 3 in March. So that was when it was born. 3 years ago in March. Going against Southern Hemisphere 3-year-old geldings in a listed race on the inside track at Morfettville. It had 2,000-metre runs going up to 1,400 in its third career start from Barrier 2. It's just in front of me here. Get away. There's a stupid thing in front of... Oh, on the back of the fave, who's red cap, yellow sleeve.
We can't see anything.
I haven't put it up yet.
Right.
Spirit, I'm just going to read it out to you so that you know what to do.
Yeah. I thought you might have thought it was up.
Yeah, on the back of the fave, who's red cap, yellow sleeve, Miss Aria. Spirit of Camelot's in the white. Just as the gap is opening, she switches to go outside, loses 3 lengths. I don't know why so close to the line when her opponent's at top speed, she decides to switch heels. If she stayed where she was and no gap appears, so be it. But the gap did come and she would have bolted in super powerful through the line. So sick, a filly to follow for sure. Jess Eaton was the rider. So let's find that race, which is race 8 at Morfettville. The Nitschke Stakes over 1,400.
No.
And Barrier 2, he said, didn't he? Yeah, white colours, misses the start.
All right, yeah, I got it. Third last in pitch on the fence, isn't it?
Yep. So he said it was on the back of the favourite. It's the favourite. Miss Aria is the favourite with the yellow sleeves. Yes. Red cap, purple jacket.
Which one are we looking at? The white back on the fence?
Yeah, white back on the fence. So somehow
Miss Ari is kind of what PRing?
Yeah, one out, one back, yeah.
In a good spot.
Ish.
Yeah. Good spot.
Yeah, bit of separation there.
Yeah, a bit of separation makes a difference. Oh, a lover's strike. That's the leader good. No one likes that.
Overstrike.
Oh, overstrike, is it? Oh,
yeah, number one.
Number one. I thought it was lover's strike. Where's it now? 3D? Oh no.
No. It's in the same lane as the favourite.
Yeah. Got it on the tag. Yep.
Yeah, got shut out.
What a fantastic run.
Oh, Jesus, Ian, you were on that, were you? Shit, that's nasty.
You should have, yeah. Like about one of five other things could have happened in the race and you would have won.
And what was it, 30s?
Every time.
Yeah, it was 30s on the fair. So it was having its third start, 2 runs at 1,000 and the third start at 1,400.
I understand the resistance in the market. I mean, it's got some key negative. It's younger than the others because it was born in the Northern Hemisphere and the 1,000 up to 1,400 metres. But sometimes you can find ways to be against variables like that, which you did. And man, it should have shut in. What a great run.
Yeah, thanks. And Ian says all the best to community of ranters. Right. So here's an interesting bit of journalism.
I'm so excited because you sent me that as the last email, Mark, and you've just popped something in late, eh?
No, there's one below that, isn't there?
No, Ian was my last one, but that's all right. I'm here to work.
Have a look at the bottom of the page.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do like to torture you anyway, but
I know. Yeah,
you know, Glenn, if you two didn't talk about it all the time, the show would go for 10 minutes shorter. So can you guys do me a favour?
See this? This is in the Herald. In the politics, New South Wales State Parliament section.
I read this. It's kind of sad, but what are you supposed to do?
Well, that's just biased reporting, isn't it?
Oh, they're trying to have a go at horse racing. Like you jump in the goddamn lake. It probably made no difference, and I want to hear more information about it. Bloody hell.
Yeah, and they,
Well, she was 98, though. They didn't expect
photos. I said,
oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. It's just
I've got one thing to say. R.I.P.
Yeah. It's just they just want to bash racing all the time. It's bloody stupid. I mean, what kind of bow do they want to say? You know, like how long do they want to draw their bow? Oh, okay. Well, if that ambulance wasn't at Rose Hill, then there would have been more money for an extra ambulance in Broken Hill, and somebody didn't get picked up for 10 minutes. Like,
no, it's a health service funding issue in the first place.
The whole idea is halve the goddamn cops budget and give it to education and health. Of course we should do that. What the hell do we need this many cops for? They don't do anything.
For our favourite woman, law and order. Anyway. That's all you
got to do it. I'm just I'm going to get on my rant here, like bloody hell.
God, if you just shut up, it'll be 10 minutes quicker.
Just legalise drugs. We have the prison population. We got $1 billion more. We can have quarter the police force. We'll all be loaded. We'll all be smarter. We'll all be healthier. For Christ's sake, it's not hard.
All right.
We need a benevolent dictator who Mark called PVL. So there we go.
All right. On that note, we'll let everyone go.
And for Christ's sake, Gord, just in peace.
All right. So look forward to a Thursday bonanza at Kenzo, which is Anzac Day, obviously, mounting yard and set from me on Thursday. Look out for the previews. And it'll be Rosehill on Saturday. So obviously a Friday morning preview for Rosehill. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show. See you soon.
See you guys.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. this guy says the horse can do.